Hi students, good morning. Welcome to this video session. I remain Samuel Chukwuemeka, aka Sam Down for Peace. In this video session, we shall look at your algebra review part 1. So let's get to my website. You click on my picture to enter the site. You click on mathematics, you click algebra for your course, and we shall discuss algebra review part 1. So we shall just solve some problems that you are familiar with. I gladly welcome you to the course, to the pre-calculus algebra course. In this course, we shall first of all review some of the algebra concepts that you have acquired in high school. So please, before you view this video, it is highly recommended that you view the prerequisite videos. If you click on this, is the playlist. You view the playlist, all the videos in the playlist, as well as the fractions. You review your fractions, all the videos in the playlist on fractions. When we finish this video, we will put the link here so that, you know, if you want to view the video as well as the notes, you can also do that. So question 1 deals with order of operations. And let me pull up my calculator here. I am using Windows 8. Calculator, there you go. So usually when you pull up the calculator, it is in standard form. You just click view and put it in scientific form. So you remember the order of operations, PEMDAS. So parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division from left to right, addition and subtraction from left to right. So if we look at this, we have a subtraction, we have division, we have multiplication, we have an addition, and then we have exponent here. So of course, the division and multiplication, we do that from left to right. So 10 divided by 2 gives you 5. This multiplication still comes here, and this of course the addition still comes. And for these exponents, you know, -3 times -3 gives you 9. So the next thing you do, you have a subtraction, multiplication and addition. You do the multiplication. If you view these prerequisite videos, it will make more sense. So please, it is required you view the prerequisite videos, you know, all the videos in this playlist. So when you do that, 12 minus 25 plus 9, you now do the subtraction and addition from left to right. 12 minus 25 is -13, and then plus 9 is -4. Question 2, you have a parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis, you have the subtraction, then you have exponent, you have subtraction here, you have division here, multiplication, and then subtraction. So you start with the parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis, you have the subtraction. 5 minus 2 is 3. Okay, 3 squared, then minus 16 divided by 4. When you have division and multiplication, you do that from left to right, whichever comes first. So 16 divided by 4 is 4. You bring down your multiplication sign and your subtraction sign. Then you do a 3 squared is 9. Some people might add an extra step here. You know, some people probably wouldn't do 16 divided by 4 right away. They will probably add an extra step here before they now do 16 divided by 4. It does not matter, okay? just make sure that you don't break the rules of the order of operations. So when you do that, you have a 3 squared is 9, 9 minus 8 is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0. Question 3, you have a square root of 9 over 16 minus 3 over 5 times 5 over 3 all squared. You still have to apply the order of operations here. Here we look at this positive square root. Positive square root of 9 over 16 will give you 3 out of 4 minus 3 out of 5 times, if you find 5 out of 3 all squared, 5 squared is 25, 3 squared is 9. So you have a subtraction and a multiplication. You want to multiply fractions. You want to multiply fractions here. 5 divide 25 is 5, and then 3 divide 9 is 3. So this will be 3 out of 4 minus 5 out of 3. They have a different denominators, so you have to establish them. You have to give them a common denominator, and you look at the least common denominator, which is 12. So what will you do to 4 to give you 12? You multiply by 3. Whatever you do to the denominator, you also do to the numerator. So 4 times 3 will give you 12. Then 3 times 3 will give you 9. So 9 out of 12 is the equivalent fraction of 3 out of 4. You come to this fraction, what will you do to 3 to give you 12? You multiply by 4. Whatever you do to the denominator, you have to do to the numerator. So 3 times 4 is 12. So 5 times 4 will give you 20. So 20 out of 12 is the equivalent fraction of 5 out of 3. They have the same denominator, so you just subtract the numerator, and that gives you negative 11 over 12. The answers are in red color. I put the answers in red color. And I will suggest to you that you try this on your own. You pause the video, you try this on your own to see whether you will get it right. You know, then you play the video. When you try it on your own, then you play the video to see whether you got it right. Question 4, you have exponent here. 3 squared is 9, 2 squared is 4, divided by 9 out of 4, minus square root of 25 is 5, and square root of 64 is 8. That is the positive square root. Okay? We call it positive square root or principal square root. So you have a division and a subtraction. Division will take preeminence. 9 out of 4 divided by 9 out of 4 will give you 1. So this is 1 minus 5 out of 8. So this one, if you want to express 1 as a fraction and you want it to be in the same denominator as 8, because this 1 means 1 out of 1. That is what the 1 means, 1 out of 1. So you put it 8 out of 8 minus 5 out of 8. And that gives you 3 out of 8. Okay, that becomes your answer. Question 5, you have a fraction, and you also have the expression requires you do order of operations as well. So if we start with the numerator, 4 times negative 7 is negative 28, minus this minus is this minus. 6 squared is 36. Then divided by, we get to the denominator. 6 is this 6, minus is this minus. Then the positive square root of 49 is 7. So minus 28 minus 36 will give us minus 64. Divided by minus 1 will give us 64. Negative divided by negative will give us positive. Okay, if you view the prerequisite videos, you wouldn't have a problem adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing integers. I used will I say, a nice approach, a nice strategy to teach it in those prerequisite videos. Question 6 is similar also. 5 times -6 is -30, minus 3 squared is 9, divided by 9 minus square root of 64 is 8. So when you do that, you get -39. I try as much as possible to write all the steps down. Some of you are way ahead, so you must not necessarily write all these steps when you're doing it. Okay, but I don't want you to do magic. I want you to show your work. I don't want you to just put in this in your calculator and you just put in this right away and then it gives you -39 and then you're done. No, you didn't do it. Your calculator did it. So you only get answer points when you do that. If you want to get your full point, you gotta show me how you have to at least have this step. You know, you have to at least write this step. Okay. Question 7, you have a multiplication here. When you have parentheses like this means multiplication. 2475 times. Then you have a parenthesis. Inside the parentheses, you have 1 plus 0.06 divided by 4. So inside the parentheses, you have an addition and a division. And then all these exponent 4 times 10. So you see how I did it step by step. You want to, when you have an addition and division inside the parentheses, the division will come first. Okay, you do the division first. If you do that, you have that 0.06 divided by 4. And you have this 0.015. Then, of course, 4 times 10 is 40. Please don't come immediately and do exponent 4 times 10. You have to do this multiplication here right away. Okay? So you do this, then you do plus 1 equal to 1.015. And then you have to raise it to exponent. You now have a multiplication and an exponent. Exponent comes first. Okay? And the exponent here in your calculator is x exponent y. So I am using the calculator on a Windows PC, Windows 8. So I press x raised to power y, and then I press 40. Okay, equal to anything you do equal to. Anything you do equal to. So I didn't use this calculator. I know it's big numbers. I didn't use this calculator when I was solving this question. I used my ordinary calculator to do that. But we will still get the same thing when we round to the nearest hundredth or to 2 decimal places. So this times 2475, okay, gives you this 4489.6955614 and so on. You round this to 2 decimal places, it will be 4489.70. Okay, does that make sense? So you see the steps, order of operations, showing your work. You don't come, and I repeat now, you don't come here and then once you're here 1.015, you now raise to power 4 times 10. If you do that, you will get a wrong answer. You have to do 4 times 10 first. Okay. Question 8. We can do the same thing for question 8. We start with the parentheses. Inside the parentheses, we have a division and an addition. The division comes first. So 0.078 divided by 52 equal to, okay, plus 1 equal to, then exponent 1040 equal to, okay, then times 5100 equal to. All right, so this is what you have, and you round it to 2 decimal places. It gives you 24241.64. Does that make sense? All right. Question 9. Some of you might say this and you just get, oh, this is too much. It is not. Okay? It is not. So we want to solve this step by step. You do this, you have exponent here. You have subtraction here, then you have multiplication, 4 times 3 times negative 39. So the parentheses we put here like this, okay, means 4 times 3 times negative 39. So negative 4, we keep it, plus square root of, negative 4 squared is 16, okay, of course, if you do it. Now, some of you might ask me, how do you get negative 4 all squared? How do you do this here? Okay, so if you want to do that, you press 4 first and you press this plus minus to get it as negative. You see that? Okay, now some calculators will have a parenthesis, then minus, then the close parenthesis, just to give that negative 4. And just you square it and it gives you 16. That is for this kind of calculator. Some calculators have it as parenthesis, minus, and then close parenthesis. Some have it as plus, minus. And in some calculators, you have to press this first before you press the number. Remember, in this calculator, I have to press 4 before I press plus, minus to get my negative 4. Some calculators, you will have to press a plus minus first before you press 4. So it all depends on your calculator. So negative 4 all squared is 16. This minus is this minus. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times negative 39 is negative 468. Divided by 2 times 3 is 6. So when you do that, 16 minus minus is plus. When you when you dislike someone, that means you like the person. 16 plus 468 gives you 484. And this is how you get your square root. You press 484 and you press the square root. Square root. Oh, my bad. 4. Clear. You press 484 and then you press square root. Okay, 22. That is this. Okay. You know, what I pressed initially was a negative and it gave me invalid output. As we go through this course, we shall deal with complex numbers. Okay, we shall do complex numbers and then we shall look at that scenario. Okay. So this gives you negative 4 plus 22, which is 18, divided by 6, that gives you 3. The same way is what you do here. Negative 12 all squared is 144, minus 4 times negative 2 is negative 8, times 32 is negative 256. Minus minus is plus, you add it. 144 plus 256 is 400. Square root of 400 is 20. Minus 12 minus 20 is minus 32. Divided by minus 4 is 8. Does that make sense? Question 11. At 6 p.m., the temperature was 70 degrees Fahrenheit. A cold front moves through that causes the temperature to drop 3 degrees Fahrenheit each hour until midnight. Hour. What is the temperature at midnight? So we can solve this question two ways. We can solve it the long way, or we can solve it the short way. So which way do you really like? Do you like the long way or the short way? Okay, we can do it manually. You know, manually, 6 p.m. the temperature was 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So each hour, the temperature will drop 3 degrees Fahrenheit. So that will be 70 minus 3, 67. You know, at 7 p.m. is after 1 hour. You have 70 minus 3, 67. 8 p.m. after another hour, 67 minus 3, 64. Okay, 9 p.m. after another hour, 64 minus 3, 61. And by 12 midnight, you have 52 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, that is long walk, right? What if I asked you at 2 a.m. until 12 midnight? I mean, that means you will write you will use a lot of paper. But that is okay if you want to do it that way. But what I want you to learn in this course is to be able to write formulas. This is what I want you to learn. Sometimes you will be given problems in pre-calculus algebra, and it does not really have a specific formula. The skill I want you to acquire by the time you finish this course is to be able to write your own formulas to solve the problems. Okay? So you could, and you can do this first the long way, and then you now ask yourself, you know what? I just did a long way. Can I just write a formula, you know, that will make this easier? That is the skill that I want you to learn. Part of the skills I want you to learn. So you notice that this initial temperature of 70 minus each hour, okay, it drops 3 degrees each hour. So minus the number of hours, you find, okay, 70 minus how many hours still from 6 p.m. to midnight? How many hours? So that's 70 minus the number of hours times the drop per hour. Number of hours minus drop per hour, right? Will give you the final temperature. So you see the initial temperature here is 70 minus temperature drop per hour, which is 3, times how many hours from 6 to 12 is 6. So 70 minus, okay, 3 times 6, okay, will give you the final temperature. Yeah, so I will, you know, I will have to put parentheses here. Okay, I'm gonna put it, I will put parentheses here. Okay, so 70 minus 18, that will give you 52 degrees Fahrenheit. So does it make sense? Does it make sense? So this is what I really want you to take away. You know, even if you come and do it this way first time, your ability to write formulas to solve problems is part of the objectives required for this course. Question 12. Most air conditioning systems are designed to create a 2 degree Fahrenheit drop in the air temperature each hour. How long would it take to reduce the air temperature from 85 degrees Fahrenheit to 70 degrees Fahrenheit? So you see, in this case, because you don't know how many hours, you know, you don't know how many hours. So you see why this formula method is important. Okay? So if you use this formula method, in this case, in algebra, whatever you do not know, you assign it a variable. So let the number of hours be x. Okay? So initial temperature is 85 minus drop per hour is 2 degree Fahrenheit drop per hour, times the number of hours, equal to final temperature. So this is a linear equation. Linear equation. If you don't understand this, then that means you need to view the video on linear equations. So I will put another prerequisite, linear equation here. I'll put it here. It's right here, linear equations. So I'm gonna put it here. If you don't know how to do this, okay, then you need to view the video on linear equations. Question 13. The state of California holds the record for the greatest temperature swing between a record high and a record low. Between a record high and a record low. Okay, the record high, that is soprano, was 134 degrees Fahrenheit, and the record low, that is bass voice, was negative 45 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, how many degrees difference are there between the record high and the record low? When we are talking about difference between A and B is A minus B. Difference between B and A is B minus A. If I ask you difference between 3 and 5, it is 3 minus 5, which is negative 2. Then if I say difference between 5 and 3, it is 5 minus 3, which is 2. So that's the same way here. Difference between record high and record low is the record high minus the record low. When you dislike to dislike someone, you love the person. Okay, minus minus is plus. That gives you 179 degrees Fahrenheit. Question 14. In Anchorage, Alaska, how many of you have been there? In Anchorage, Alaska, the temperature was 16 degrees Fahrenheit early one morning. A cold front later moved in and the temperature dropped 20 degrees Fahrenheit by lunchtime. What was the temperature at lunchtime? So, some of you might ask me, hey, Mr. C, even if you use the second formula, why won't you use the second formula? Why did you just do 16 minus 20? Okay, in the second formula here, you know, they didn't tell us temperature drop per hour. Okay? They didn't tell us per hour. They just told us temperature drop in this question. Temperature drop is 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay? In this one, we were given temperature drop per hour and also number of hours. Here, we were just given temperature drop. So if you're given temperature drop, come on now, it is just initial temperature minus the temperature drop. Okay? And that is 16 minus 20, which is negative 4 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the final temperature you will have at lunchtime. The temperature at lunchtime will be negative 4 minus 4 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 4 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, thank you so much for listening to this video session. Watch out for part 2. And you have a great